All right. This is the client analysis for Roscoe Brown with Brandy Gilbert, Lexi Gothard, Gabriela Ortega, and Kendall Singleton. Some background on Roscoe Brown. The company was established in 1940 and currently is being run by third generation of Roscoe Brown's grandson, Norman Brown. It began as a tin company. It currently has grown to serve Middle Tennessee, including Murfreesboro, Nashville, McMinnville, and Tullahoma. They offer services such as heating, cooling, plumbing, generators, spray foam encapsulation, and Tesla charging equipment installation. They primarily service residential customers, but also serve commercial as well. The company's core values are integrity, positivity, respect, and commitment. Roscoe Brown currently has over 200 employees and has a recorded revenue of over $23.1 million.
As part of Roscoe Brown's current strategy, there are three key points. First, small business oriented. Roscoe Brown stays firmly rooted as a family owned business that has spread three generations. With 85 years of experience in the HVAC industry and founded in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Roscoe Brown is a household name as an expert in HVAC repairs and maintenance. With their slogan as serving our friends and neighbors with integrity and excellence. Next, diversification of services. Primarily known for their expertise in HVAC systems, Roscoe Brown has diversified their service offerings over the years, most notably adding the Tesla charging station installations and changing with the needs of the market. And lastly, their maintenance plans. So their preventative maintenance plans shifts their business model from reactive to proactive as a relationship-based strategy. This creates recurring revenue and higher customer retention. The program reinforces differentiation model by reducing the customer's overall cost in the long term. And they have their slogan as affordable maintenance plans that fits any budget to target anyone that could need this.
So for the Porter's Five Horses, we'll start with intensity of rivalry. So here the competition is pretty intense for Roscoe Brown in Middle Tennessee. They have many competitors like Lee Company and Hiller. Next, we'll go to bargaining power of supplies. It is pretty moderate for suppliers just because they don't have an unlimited choice to choose from for manufacturers. For bargaining power of buyers, it is pretty moderate to high as there's online reviews now, quote comparison, things like that, that could make the customers have an easier way to shop around before they make a final decision. And then for moderate threat or for threat of new entry, it's pretty moderate for that as it's pretty easy for a new company to get the licensing and things like that to start a new HVAC business. And then for threat of substitutes, it is pretty low to moderate as there is things like DIY repair people that come out for homeowners, but they don't have as high of quality as someone like Roscoe Brown would have. And then there are things like the smart home and things like that that are emerging throughout throughout Middle Tennessee and everywhere else.
All right. For driving forces, there is a growing demand for eco-friendly and energy-efficient solutions, as well as integration of smart technologies. These include customers wanting high energy-efficient units and smart technologies like thermostats and air quality monitors within their homes. There has also been a boom in construction in Middle Tennessee, especially in areas like Nashville and Murfreesboro, part of their market, and this increases the demand for units in those newer homes as well as in more of those rural markets. The homes are aging, so that maintenance is a key piece in those markets. There is a technician shortage within this industry. This is because there are fewer younger workers in the workplace and the workplace is aging. So there is a gap in the trade that's creating some hiring challenges. There are also tightening federal and state efficiency regulations, specifically in HVAC, but also in plumbing, that require companies to update systems. So this drives those upgrades within HVAC and plumbing. There's also industry consolidation. So as the owners are aging out or aging up and retiring, more private equity firms are interested in buying up those firms. This is leading to more mergers and acquisitions that are impacting the number of small businesses. So it's already a very fragmented market to begin with, and it's just beginning to be consolidated by private equity firms or those larger businesses. There's also a customer preferences in places like Tullahoma and McMinnville. Customers prefer, small local businesses rather than what they view as outsiders or large corporations like Roscoe Brown.
Stemming from the driving forces are the key success factors that Roscoe Brown will have to focus on heavily. The first is sustainability and energy efficiency, as well as the integration of smart technologies. As the market continues to digitalize, Roscoe Brown will have to remain proactive in uh, updating their eco-friendly HVAC solutions. The strategic positioning in new construction markets, as the Murfreesboro and Nashville markets grow, especially, there's a lot more opportunity there for larger residential spaces as well as more commercial spaces. The labor shortage, as Brandy stated, there is a gap currently in the labor shortage with new technicians and the current uh, conditions of the labor force aging out, and regulatory compliance, establishing internal compliance protocols to adhere to those regulations that the HVAC industry faces through legal entities.
So for the strengths portion of our SWOT analysis, we first have established reputation. So Roscoe Brown has been serving Middle Tennessee for many decades, and so they have built a strong level of trust, and the community recognizes that. And so that helps them put them above the rest. We next have the diverse service offerings. So they do not just provide things like HVAC, they also do plumbing and electrical services. So it could be something that customers could look at as a one-stop shop for multiple home and commercial needs as well. They also have a strong customer base. So they have customers that are homeowners as well as large commercial clients. And that helps Roscoe Brown have a solid foundation for reoccurring customers because of their reliability and professionalism. They also have long-term supplier relationships, which will then help them have better pricing, as well as have priority over equipment, and may have fewer delays when servicing customers. And then finally, we have they are locally owned, so they have regional expertise. So they are able to understand the specific climate needs and challenges that customers hold in the Middle Tennessee area. And so it kind of gives them more knowledge of how to tailor their services for the customers within Middle Tennessee.
So for weaknesses, while they do have very strong brand awareness over their years in business with HVAC, they have been offering plumbing for more than 15 years, and they just don't have that brand recognition with their plumbing services. They don't do as well in that market. This is also a very highly saturated market with many competitors like Hiller, Lee and Company that crowd the Middle Tennessee area, which can be a weakness for them. Um, and then there's a perception that they're too corporate in rural areas. And then in those highly saturated markets like Nashville, they are just seen as a smaller company. They also may have limited reach due to the staffing constraints. They have availability to service outside of their market if they have a technician that's available. And especially with plumbing emergencies, this limited availability for them can be an issue to reach those other markets. Um, there's also heavy dependence on that maintenance program for their recurring revenue. And as mentioned, they don't maintain that maintenance program as well for plumbing as they do for HVAC. And as we could see by the presentation, plumbing offers bigger margins. So with that maintenance program for plumbing, with not having as many people sign up for that, it does make it a little bit more unpredictable for them. And then the last is that there's a fragmented marketing strategy across their different markets. So they have to manage distinct markets in both rural and urban areas, and that can stretch the budget and may reduce the marketing impact.
So for opportunities, there's a big opportunity for Roscoe Brown to educate their customers on their preventative maintenance program for plumbing. So plumbing is often often serviced as an emergency. So educating their customers on reducing their overall costs by preventing those emergencies before they happen. Expanding and advancing technologies. While they are rated in the family oriented small business, there are 71% of millennials that are in the buying market with busy lives, jobs, families. So offering online booking for specific services, SMS services to connect with the local customer reps can be very beneficial for their customer base. Leveraging the Greater Nashville Apartment Association and Middle Tennessee Association of Realtors to increase their brand recognition specifically for plumbing. There are 174,000 apartment units associated with GNAA and growing. More than 2,800 members with the Realtor Association. And by 2030, the metro area alone is projected to be at 1.4 million individuals. Expanding their public sector contracts, so targeting government facilities and entire school districts. We're already working in that commercial segment, so getting those contracts can be beneficial on a larger scale. And lastly, expanding their commercial services to include new businesses. In Davidson County alone, in the last quarter of 2024, there were 2,821 new business filings that are bound to have plumbing needs.
And lastly, the threats that Roscoe Brown currently faces include the labor shortages that we discussed earlier with the gap between new workers entering the market and the aging group of HVAC and plumbing technicians. Supply chain issues that may deal with suppliers or inadequate inventory levels. This Roscoe Brown may also face new changes through tariffs and surcharges based on goods that are produced outside of the United States. With new digitized HVAC systems, Roscoe Brown may also face problems with cybersecurity, and customer expectations are now growing. They're expecting faster response times and more personalized service. The competition is growing rapidly with highly saturated markets in Nashville and Murfreesboro. And in the Nashville Murfreesboro market, Roscoe Brown is seen as a small local company, but in McMinnville and Tullahoma, they're seen as a larger corporate company. And lastly, as the technology for HVAC advances, it may be coupled with AI and can revolutionize how business buildings are managed and operated, which may create a threat for Roscoe Brown if not implemented and trained correctly on this new technology.